the children of Cain are called Cainites, and I've pointed out the spelling of the word Cain. Here we have in Hebrew the word Cain. You can see it's here. This is a kaf, a yod, and a nun. This is a q, kaf, and a yod, a y, or an I, and a nun, and an n, final nun sofit. And the plural form of this word is this one here, kini. Okay, it's the same, kuf, yod, nun, with a plural yod at the end as well, on adjectival. Okay, adjective. So it's tribe of members of the tribe, and it says of Kenites, but it's actually the tribe of Cain. The root is still there. That's the root. Now, of course, the nun looks different because it's not a nun sofit. It's not a final nun. It's a middle nun. A nun which you use, an n which you use in the middle of the word, is slightly different from the n that you use at the end of the word here. So when there's nothing following on the n at the end, it's called a nun sofit. It's slightly different. When it has something afterwards, the nun changes form to this way, and we have a yod at the end. So that's literally Cainites. And we hear about them again in Genesis 15:19, we'll see, and for example, Numbers 24:21, Judges 1:16. So they're still around, long time after the flood. That's quite interesting because we have, with the human haplogroup tree, this is a tree of human haplogroups from Y chromosomal Adam down to the modern groups we have today. Okay, Y chromosomal Adam has been given the name on the haplogroup tree. This is yfull.com, just so you know. On the haplogroup tree, it's A0-T. Okay, or it's actually A0 to T if you like. When you scroll down, you'll see that it goes all the way. I should actually zoom out. That it goes to haplogroup T. That's why A0 to T is included. They have LMNO, and they have also in here subsections of NO and K, which will take you down all the way to T. So it goes all the way to T. But here, the major groups here, starting with Y chromosomal Adam or Ha'adam, are given. And we have quite a few lineages. They don't reflect the idea of all human beings descended on the planets being descended from, say, for example, from Noah's 3 sons. What we should expect to see in that case would be 1 here and 3, 1, 2, 3, and all humans on the planet descending from them. But what we do have here instead is something which matches the lineage of the Cainites given in Genesis chapter 4. So if you look at that again, it says, Cain knows his wife and she conceives and bears Enoch. That's 1, 2. Of course, Cain being the son of Adam. So that's actually 2. Cain is 2. Enoch 3. And Enoch bore Yared or Irad. That's 4. And for Irad, from Irad comes Mehujael. That's 5. From Mehujael, Methusael 6. And from Methusael, Lamech 7. And then from Lamech, we get Tubal Cain 1, which is like a kind of a twin, and Jabal 2, and Jubal 3. These two, Jabal and Jubal, are from one wife, and from Zillah, a different one, Tubal Cain. And also Tubal Cain's sister Nama is mentioned as well. Nama stands for basically a kind of woman on the planet. So it's Nama, they are the daughters of man, the daughters of men, Nama. Okay, so that's basically who is on the planet. All right, so we've got 3 here, Jabal, Jubal, and Tubal Cain. So what we should see is something like 7, a line of 7 from Ha'adam and Cain and Enoch and Irad and Mehujael and Methusael and Lamech. We should see 7 major patriarchal lineages, and from the last one, the 7th, we should see a branch into basically 3 lines. Okay, and what we do see in the haplogroup tree is actually a reflection of that. So again, modern genetic science is backing this up. A0-T has no direct descendants, but it has 2 lineages. A01 would be the first. A0 would be the first. So that would be Ha'adam. Then from Ha'adam, you've got 2 more lineages. So that could be Cain himself and Enoch. And then from that, we have another 2 lineages. So that would be Yared and Mehujael. And from that, we have another 2 lineages, which would be Methusael and Lamech. And then Lamech has descendants, major descendants, C, F, and D, E, which would be corresponding to Tubal Cain, Jabal, and Jubal. Just, I'm not being very careful of which ones I'm saying is which, but basically Tubal Cain, Jabal, Jubal. So it kind of matches up. One lineage, the Tubal Cain from Zillah, and the other lineage from Ada. So Zillah and Ada, the 2 wives of Lamech. So it kind of works actually. And haplogroup C represents generally people in the northeast of the old world. If I pull up a map of the world, I'll show you what I mean by that. Share this picture. So if we say, we'll use this one, for example, just to expand on that one. So in the northeast of the old world, we talk about Siberia, Mongolia, northern Japan, northern Korea. They also go over into the United States and Canada. You get haplogroup C. In the north, they're very much northern people, northeastern people. Haplogroup F is basically everybody in the middle, and haplogroup D is basically everybody in the south. That's basically roughly how it works. So you've got north, middle, and south, which are the three areas that the children of Noah go out to. So the children of Noah eventually go out to the three areas of Jabal, Jubal, and Tubal Cain, being haplogroups DE, C, and F. And then the remaining lineages on the planet correspond, therefore, to the lineages mentioned in chapter 4, Cain and Enoch and Irad and Mehujael and Methusael and Lamech. So we have them all there. So that's another interesting scientific correlation with the Bible, the book of Genesis, which is full of such correlations. But it's an important one, I think, to mention, since it sort of another example of the evidence being backed up, or the biblical evidence being backed up by extra biblical evidence, an independent corroboration showing that this is not fantasy, this is actually science fact as well. So it's proving the historicity of the text. Of course, if you want to understand how long ago these lineages branched out, it has actually, on this yfull.com, you can actually see how long ago they branched out. So, for example, the time to most recent common ancestor, they have that this lineage, this most recent common ancestor, this formed something like 235,000 years ago, 235,900 years before present. And the most recent common ancestor of all of the humans is about 161,300 years before present for Adam. And then obviously you've got the lineage of Cain, and then Enoch, and then Irad, and then Mehujael, then Methusael, and Lamech, and we get down to Lamech would be formed, it says, about 68,500 years before present. And of course, Lamech's children, not so long after that, with the three major lineages, DE being 65,000 years before present, roughly, and C being 65,000 years before present again, and F being formed again 65,000 years before present. So we're talking about 65,000 years before present for the children of Cain if we follow, for the children of Lamech if we follow the current understanding of the haplogroup tree. So it's quite interesting, another independent corroboration.